This is just a short tutorial to show the final tricks I put into play to prepare our tutorial set for a small showcase. First, I changed the mixer preset some more. Now you see there are independent presets for most of the tracks, except the kick and the hi-hat on all sets. And I also added a mastering plugin that just uses a single preset for all sets. I also added a fourth main page preset using T-ARP as in tutorial 11, which I will use in the beginning of the set to play without using the timer as an arpeggiator, as we hear here. Besides from that, I mostly only added a few things to MIDI control, so let's have a look at that. See, so far we've been just using the rec, overdub and start buttons of the dub plates MIDI looper, here using the mouse. Now I've set that up to be controlled by a pad controller, and as mentioned before, only channel 2 is not looped, and to control the looper itself it is rather important that the notes are not looped. 4 of the remaining pads I'm using to start and stop the sequencing modules, and again you can see I'm using channel 2. The range is also set from 2 to 2, which is a trick to get the pads to work as toggles between start and stop. If the range had been 0 to 1, you could use actual toggle buttons to start and stop. I don't want to be using the mouse or computer keyboard at all during the set, so I set up the remaining 3 pads to change between our 3 different main page presets. You can see that the input range is from C1 to D1, which is 3 half notes. So when I set the output range from 1 to 3, I get exactly those numbers that are then used to change the main page. Here's another trick that I actually ended up disabling, as you can see here, since the input channel is 0, but it can be quite handy. If I quickly enable it, you can see I can then use the velocity from a specific keyboard range to scale the velocity of a sequencing module and thus have live velocity control over the steps. Another thing I set up but didn't actually end up using in the showcase video is a couple of different filter controls for the drums. I will quickly just show it anyways, since once you know how to control parameters on a big VST like Kontakt, it's really easy. Most VSTs will give you a short list of parameters with unique names, but Kontakt, for example, just gives you a long list of numbers. So I set up 4 knobs here to number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and inside in Kontakt, you can then see under the Automation tab that they light up when I turn a knob. And from here, you simply drag the control to whichever software knob you want to change, and set range and so on here, if you need it. Of course, these internal MIDI maps are saved with each patch, so it's very easy to switch between different Kontakt MIDI maps simply by storing and recalling different patches inside telePort. I've already shown how I have division control for the header using 4 identical presets where only the division factor changes, and then simply a fader that changes between these 4 presets. And on the second module we still have a knob that changes the division directly. For the lead module I've also set up 4 presets with division from 1 to 4, but here I'm using the teleportation system to make a system where I can increase and decrease division using 2 notes on the keyboard, simply by having built into each preset to what other preset each of these notes should take us. The final change is that I've added another note preset for the lead module, simply with a bigger keyboard range, so I can play the Blofeld with the left hand as well, at the same time as I'm playing the 2 mofos. And just as with the main page, I've set up a few notes on the keyboard to let me switch between these presets. You see here the keyboard range, which is 5 half notes long, and then again the output range from 1 to 5. That's all the changes I've made, and with these 15 tutorials you now have, from scratch, the full process of building the set used in the showcase video.